welcome to the July 19th, 2018 Town of Riverhead Planning Board Work Session. First item on our agenda today is a discussion item for Brixmore Retail Shops at Riverhead.
Okay, can we just pull one chair over? There you go, thanks. All right, as you recall at the last meeting, we talked about the main reason for the amended site modification. There was a building E up in front, which is gonna be 12,000 square feet, and the applicant is now proposing to split it into a 7,000, 5,000 square foot building. Staff had no problem with that, it was consistent with the secret findings. They substantially increased the landscaping around the perimeter base of the building. During the course of the review, however, a couple of other issues arose. One had to do with the traffic circulation, two was the electrical vehicle charging stations, and the third issue came up, in terms of the street trees along Route 58. And I'd like to take that kind of in reverse order and do the easiest one first. Along Route 58, the planning board approved location of street trees along Route 58, and they've done very well. You think you wanna pass it down?
Yep.
And at that time, there was no freestanding sign for the shopping center proposed. The trees have now blossomed, they've become very large, and if you take a look in the staff report, you'll see a picture of the trees in question, and behind one of those trees is actually a freestanding sign, which you cannot see in the photograph because you can't see it from Route 58. Brandon, who's here with us today, sent me an email, asking if they could, remove two of those trees. When I did my site inspection, you really need to remove 3 trees in order to see that sign from Route 58 as you head westbound. So my recommendation is that we allow them to, they propose to remove them and then plant 3 new ones, substantially smaller. My recommendation is that the trees can be spayed, and then relocated just on the other side of the berm.
That's what I was gonna ask, can't we relocate?
Yeah. And then you see where the red circles are on the plan.
Yeah, just gonna move them back?
Yep. That way, you'll maintain the streetscape along Route 58, and you'll be able to see the freestanding sign.
Fine.
The second issue had to do with the electrical vehicle charging station. They have 2 out there today. The area where they were gonna put them was gonna be, south of building, where the Home Sense is, building C1. We got them they were relocated to the north of where the PetSmart is. Staff recommendation is that they provide the additional 3, in which they are proposing to do, but not in the approved location, which was south of building C of the Home Sense. They are now proposing them to be, by the 12,000 square foot building, which is now going to be 2 buildings, just in front of the buildings.
So the additional ones will be there, and the
Yes.
other ones will remain?
Be the total
Couple
requirement.
reasons for that. Originally, we did propose them here, way back at the beginning. Also, when we draw the electrical permits and building permits for building E, we'll include the charging stations as part of that electrical permit, rather than reopening permits that are already underway on for C.
So it's in front of the building, does it in any way interfere with the, handicap parking?
It does not, it's over,
Okay,
the back.
on the side of the building.
Yes. And the last issue, which is kind of the most important issue, has to do with the intersection of the shopping center with Route 58 and then also the interior traffic circulation. When we went back out and did a subsequent site inspection, just during the 1 hour that I was there, I saw cars making U-turns around the center island in both directions. I saw cars making turns that I would not even envision that they would be making, but they were very creative drivers. I saw cars in the center lane go straight, I saw cars in the center lane make left heading east, onto Route 58. It's confusing. And then the other confusing part is that when you come out of where the Alta is, there's supposed to be a sign, this is in the southernmost, it's supposed to be entrance and exit only to heading to the north. There's supposed to be a no left-hand turn sign there was no sign. There really needs to be like a one-way sign or something directing people to the north, because people think that they can make a left-hand turn out thinking that it's a 2-way street, and it's not. Then we got some other issues in terms of additional striping needed and signage needed in front of retail buildings C and A and PetSmart and Marshalls. I was driving, people would just walk out in front of me and not even look that I was a car driving down. There needs to be some sort of identification, crosswalk, striping areas, alerting drivers that there are people walking in the area. This is the main thoroughfare to the shopping center, so we really need, some additional safety markouts, signage, what have you, to get people to understand that there are pedestrians in the area. And then the other thing is we need to hear from DPW as to what they wanna do with this traffic signal and striping of the center lane. If you take a look at the stripe report stand, you got the page turned on, or turned to. There's a striping somewhere up in this area. I can't tell if that's a straight arrow, a left-hand
This
arrow.
one?
Yeah, it was clearly one stripe, one arrow one time, and then they overlaid it with another arrow. So it's confusing to anybody who actually even sees it to know what it means. What I'm recommending is, one, that be fixed so that people know what it's going to be. Two, there's only two sets of markings. One is at the intersection, so you're in your lane, that you know which way you wanna go, and you're already over the markings. The other one is, farther way up to the north, people at that point are not really looking at the lane markings. They really need to have either one or two more sets of lane markings as you're coming towards the traffic signal. So those are my concerns, and I know they've been working on it, so I'm gonna let them
You
explain.
really can't do that until the county, you hear from the county though, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yes. But we can work on internal traffic flow, and that's what
Right,
Courtney will
so
speak to.
just starting on the pedestrian safety down here, what we have and we discussed last time is we did add the additional crosswalks. We also added, warning signs that crosswalks were coming up, so that warns the driver that there is crosswalks coming up, and that there are, and then we also sign those appropriately and added more, crosswalks, and people will typically now slow down at those as well.
Courtney, those correspond to the entrance to the stores? Is that where you chose those
They
locations?
they do correspond to the entrances of the stores.
Okay.
So, can the signage also designate that, yield to people in the crosswalk, cause that's the state law?
Correct, so it says, on the sign summary, there's signs that talk about, sorry, that have where the actual crosswalk is, and then the warning sign says it's person crossing and coming ahead. So it's warning them up to and then at the actual
Okay, so
crossing
it's a yield
itself.
to the pedestrian in the okay.
You are correct that, across from, Alta, we're gonna add a one-way sign here too. I think that'll help also, direct people. If you remember, there's signage there now, where we actually had signage in the back, and it is installed today, where it says 495, and where it says 58, and we were trying to push people this way first, to have them circulate out this way. So if you go to the site, you will see the signage in the back, that directs people to go, if they wanna go to 58, to come back through this way. On the county side, we are working with the county. They are gonna warrant some additional information. And what we had discussed last time was that we would not be able to obtain our COs, until this traffic signal was worked out with the county. And that's still where we're headed. As you know, at the county, it takes time. We might have to do any additional studies or warrant studies to prove out the fact that this is why we need this.
Question for you,
Yes.
if I might interrupt. Is it possible, I mean, we have an arrow to the left. I've seen multiple arrows together that would basically be in each lane. It's pretty small actually, where it would tell you that these two lanes left, and this lane is straight or right. And it would also, it's green when go, and it's red when you stop. Which would then, people can see in the distance, well, I can't get in that lane, cause then I can't make a right, or I can't get in this lane, cause I can't make a left. Does that make sense?
So the signage that we're proposing right now, which will have to be modified, has signage leading up to, which is gonna tell you which lane. So you've seen it probably at other intersections where it tells you, here's your 3 lanes and here's where you need to go. That's the signage that we're proposing. Now, we're not gonna install this signage until we clear with the county, because what we are going for is those 2 lefts, and then the straight and the right. And what we're trying to work out with the county and prove to them is that if that the rights won't get backed up, that there's not as many people going straight, and that the rights won't get backed up, and if they do get backed up, we have enough queue.
Have you done counts?
We've done counts on Saturdays, on 3 Saturdays, those have been issued to the county. We also did modeling, those have also been issued to the county. We're trying to set up additional meetings to meet with Mr. Omen and go through it. And then whatever we do, we're obviously gonna have to change signal heads, and there'll be design plans for that would have to be approved by the
And
county.
you have no idea how long it's gonna take.
Well, in speaking with Brixmor, E1, E2, between, the final design of the buildings, the approval, and the building of them, it's gonna take about 9 months. So our intentions is that by the time we would need that CO, that we
I'll see you in a
would work
few
through this, get through the plans, and be able to implement them.
George, were you asking that instead of these lights being green, that they be an arrow?
Yeah, I mean, that, you
Rather
know,
than being
yeah, I
full
mean,
light,
that
they'd be
takes
arrow
away
light.
all the guesswork, cause then you can see in the distance, I mean, I've seen it in other states quite a bit, I can't tell you that, you know, I've seen
It's
it.
gonna depend on what DPW spec is
Right.
too, though.
Yeah, we're
It's
gonna
be up
have to modify
DPW
those.
what signal they're gonna allow us to put up there, but
Yeah.
we're open to an arrow.
I mean, it just, you know, it takes away the guesswork, you have 3 and then 3 lanes, it just might work.
Yep,
Are bumps illusion your estimate? George, except if you backed up to here.
Well,
If you're doing both, if you want us to make a wrong turn,
because
they fall into it.
Like the alligators,
I know.
so you're talking about speed
Is,
bumps?
were there a lot of people that were going straight?
In the middle lane? I was.
No,
Well,
not today, but during the study that
During
you did
the
on the
study.
Saturday,
Yeah,
were
the
there a lot
visual
of
study
people that
said
were?
that everyone was going east.
there's not as many, I mean, we obviously see the
Few,
fact that people
few.
are going east. And what we also did notice is that more people were going straight from Sabre than they were from Brixmor to Sabre.
Likely coming out of Staber, I don't see too many people coming straight across.
Right. You gotta go to Starbucks first before you go to Costco with the kids.
Yeah.
That's,
You need to
There's
charge
our coffee.
up.
yeah, that's what you need.
That's
That's
why
what
they're
you
so
need.
crazy and they're doing U-turns.
That's why they didn't at Starbucks first, that's what happened. So Mr. to answer your question, we did at one point consider, speed humps or speed bumps along here. The problem is we have a lot of ADA spaces. And to do that, to get people over the speed humps and bumps, you create those situations. Typically, when you have the speed humps where it's the entire width of the aisle, these 2 grades are at the same. So we would have to grade all the way back and take away a lot of this parking to regrade everything. So,
That'll hinder the movement of traffic, there's something awful.
I think some of the traffic problems are people coming in and actually going to Costco.
I was just gonna
Before this
say.
was built over here, people would come in and go all the way down and around to go to Costco, but really we're trying to encourage them to turn the left here to go to Costco, and that's why the signage will help.
yeah, there's an additional signage here pointing
Costco.
this
Took a
way
little
to
getting
Costco.
used to.
Yeah,
This is a work in progress, and
Maybe
we're
a sign,
fine-tuning
maybe
it,
a
but
sign, Costco.
That's what we have.
that's what it is,
shown.
that's what we're
That's
showing,
what we're
yeah, that's what's added, right there, Costco left.
So the big question is, I think we're heading in the right direction, is when do you wanna see feedback from the applicant as to the work, becomes decided by the DPW and the applicant, or just wait until the building comes in?
Well, I think we should move forward and, really, we can't override what the county requests there or mandates, so.
Right, but the on-site public safety issues we could start addressing.
I think it needs to
Right
be
now,
addressed.
with this
Oh, yeah,
plan-
that's-
With
yeah.
this approved
We can do
plan,
that.
we can.
Yeah.
Yeah, with the approved plan, we can.
The signal, that's obviously a DPW issue.
Are you okay with Dick, the charging, the extra ones being down there?
Yeah.
Okay.
And is the C of O pay for the issuance, as a condition for the traffic improvements, is that okay?
My only thought is I'd like to see them come back here at some point when you get DPW.
Okay.
Just so
We'll
we
get some
know
feedback from
exactly
them.
what's
We'll schedule this back on for discussion and some.
Yes, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Alright.
Okay, we do have a resolution on for your consideration later on in the agenda packet.
Jenny, did you have any comments on this, Vinnie, at all, no? Thank you. Thank you.
you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on the agenda, a discussion item for Overlook Homes.
Good afternoon.
Hello?
Felicia, this is the applicant, Jason Pincus, and, you know, Doug Adams. I didn't know if the board was apprised of a meeting, a site inspection yesterday with the fire marshal and the building inspector.
I will.
Okay, I'm gonna let Doug Adams, he was present at the meeting, I was not there, so I believe it was Doug Adams, Howie Young, Mr. Pincus, Brad Hammond, the building inspector, Craig Ziddick, the fire marshal, anybody else?
That's it.
Okay. So, I'm going to hand out some revisions that were suggested by the building inspector and the fire marshal. I think the board members are aware that there was an issue with the width of the road, and that the fire marshal wanted a width of 20 feet. I got three of them, so I got another one I can hand down here.
This is, we've amended this plan yesterday, so
Okay, so
if
it's
you have a
not
plan that you
right.
brought, it's probably for discussion purposes. I didn't put the microphones in.
Almost stands, hold on.
I'm gonna follow, you're gonna point it out, right?
Yeah. Yeah, so, Kim noted who was present, I think Jason asked for the meeting, to talk about, you know, the width issue where we're having trouble, or where we can't really provide a designed road that's 20 feet wide because of either telephone poles or property lines or whatever. Brad had, and I tried to look it up myself, mentioned a provision that if you can't get to 20, there was this thing that we could do a turnout. It sounded like, when he was stating this, that it was, something that if we had it every 500 feet, it would be helpful for Greg to take a look at it and consider allowing us to go less than 20 feet, which he seemed amenable to yesterday. Howie was able to actually provide 4 of them, turnouts where the road is actually widened at a point, to a width that would allow for, you know, vehicles to pass if they were stopped on the road. And we show them these hatched areas on the side here.
See, it's down over here.
We had talked in the field about doing it right here at this location. Howie thought it was actually convenient, and we were able to do it to show it in these 4 locations. So there's a lot of opportunity along this stretch of the subdivision to allow for the.
Is this the same plan that was in the field with you yesterday, or is this
This
modified
is a
since then?
result of the field meeting yesterday.
So they have not seen this plan?
No.
Okay, so before recommendation.
We let them know we
meet
were
with
gonna try to have it
planning
ready for today.
This is what they suggested that we do and bring today.
board. All right, so we need to hear back from Brad and Craig on that.
Well, there was
But we haven't given this to them yet either, so that's where we are.
is that gravel?
Has not seen it as well.
Right now, it's, yeah.
These turnouts are?
Yeah, it's the same spec as the road, but it's gonna
New plan that
basically
many
widen the road in those locations. It's about 60 feet long each one, and it brings it out to 24 feet, Howie? Yeah, yeah, out 6 more feet to allow for that area to be 24 feet wide.
And the fire marshal indicated that it meets the fire code for a major subdivision?
He said that we don't have to go for a state variance, he said he suggested these turnouts.
Yeah, I don't wanna put words in his mouth, but it was an amicable meeting.
They suggested, Stan, that if we did these turnouts, we wouldn't require a variance from the state, they thought, but Brad and I are gonna check a little
Okay.
further into that.
And then it's still up to Craig, you know,
They suggested that we do this and we show it.
But the application itself is mucho time in front of the ZBA, I'm pretty sure.
What's that?
ZBA,
Has nothing to say about this.
no, I mean, but the size of the lots and other issues are before them, I think, at least 3 times already.
On the previous applicant, the predecessor in title? I'm not aware of
Any
Mr.
variances?
Bincus doing any variances.
No variances?
And
Before the planning board several times, but not the zoning board.
Yeah, Yeah, Dick, they don't need, I don't think they need ZBA.
Involved in the subdivision part of it, as far as setback,
No,
stuff like
do
that. Turn on the television, you'll see it, that's all I can say.
I'm looking at the plan, and the first width, I see 30 feet.
That's the easement.
That's the width of
30
the
feet.
easement, it's a 30-foot easement throughout.
Okay. Here you got 24.
That's the width of the
24.
pavement,
That's the width you want,
that's the width of the pavement at the turnout locations.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. And down here you have 30.
That's the width of the
And
easement.
then the
again.
fourth one,
You
you
gotta
don't
look where
have
the
any.
arrows go to, Joe,
Well,
the
yeah,
arrows
so
up to the easement.
That 30 is showing the width of the
Yeah,
right of
yeah,
way.
yeah, no.
Yeah.
My question was on the fourth one, there's no width shown.
Oh, all the turnouts are an additional 6 feet, so 24-foot total at each turnout. About
So-
60-foot in linear length, you know.
So he does not, Mr. Pincus, you do not wanna relocate the poles because?
The expense.
Because of the expense, that's it. Okay.
Well, after the poles, you got dozens and dozens of trees too, so. If you were
Trying to
down
keep it
there,
a rural road.
I've been down there.
Well,
Yeah.
all those maple trees would have to be, chopped up as well on the,
Trees
on
will
the
go in
side
as
of
it
the
is,
property.
you know, they can have,
Trees are one thing, safety is the more important consideration.
So Doug, you're calling it, you're carefully calling it a turnout, not a turnaround. It's just an area where
it's how
cars
it's
can
described
pass
to us,
by.
yes.
Yeah.
The problem with just the 20,
Stan, the fire marshal and Brad were interested in fire trucks, not everyday parking, that they would, because when they go to a fire, even if there was a fire across the street, one of these existing houses there, they could pull a fire, there'd be maybe many fire trucks there, and then the fire truck could pull off on this.
We'll get by another fire
It's
truck.
more bored by his
Yes, right.
equipment, right.
They weren't talking about the daily traffic
cars,
of
right.
vehicles or cars or, and I believe we did see, Doug and I, that there probably would
Doesn't
be some.
involve this or that, but it involves, so that the end of it.
Can you talk to?
No, I'm with you, I'm with you.
Stan, the other reason for the 20 feet is not just for the width of the vehicle, it's for the outriggers as well.
Yep. Well,
What are you talking about?
When a fire truck, like a tanker truck, and Stan knows this way better than I do, they have outriggers that go on either side of the truck.
I know. That's why we're talking about widening it at certain spots.
So,
I've designed roads for 60 years.
That's it.
50 years, and, you know, there are other issues besides just waving your hands and saying it's gotta be wide.
well, the requirement's 26 feet, and the fire marshal's agreement will go down to 20, so.
The outriggers would be more on ladder trucks than on.
We're trying to present something that, based on a farm, will you give us a break?
Anyway,
You're
the
presenting-
You've got your
the
opinion.
suggestion
Well,
was to
let's
show
present this thing.
one,
They know what your opinion is.
Okay, Howard, you presented your opinion, I'm allowed to voice
We're not
our
finished
opinion.
with,
Okay,
right?
Go ahead.
Keep interrupting and saying, that everybody knows it's 20 feet or 26 feet. Of course, this is the first meeting we've had on this thing.
alright, so,
we discussed
I'm
the
trying
equipment
We're trying to bring
yesterday,
in what the fire
all the
marshal said
different
yesterday.
apparatus they have.
Mhm.
But the only thing different about this plan than what we talked about yesterday was, we talked about 1 turnout and we were showing 4. Just because we just thought that meant that much more availability to get around his vehicles.
Here's the question I have.
Sure.
Your fourth turnout, there's no width listed.
4 listed.
Okay, the other 3 have the width.
No, I put
40.
these on here, Joe, as
There's
typical.
none
Joe.
here, that's all.
Listen to me, please.
What is it, is it
I
420?
put these dimensions on here
Yeah.
and put them down as typical, they're all the same.
Okay.
but there's 4 of them.
Right.
But just for clarity, the plan could simply be shown for width. You could show the width at all, just for clarity, so everyone's clear about it.
We'll add the width.
Yes? Alright.
That's all I was
If they say no to the turnouts, we don't have to say anything, right?
He was expecting to see 1 and we're showing 4, that's all my point was, and
Okay,
we'll
so,
show the width on it.
we are gonna need to hear from the fire marshal.
Yeah, yeah.
And, right.
Right.
But based on, taking
Right.
for what the meeting, the outcome of the meeting was,
We amended it quickly based on the meeting today,
Right.
and he suggested we had it here today for this,
so I'm looking at Dick, if the fire marshal feels that he felt a provision that would be acceptable to the state fire code, this should be fine for us to move forward with, if everyone gives it to us in writing. That's a question.
So, there's always a difficulty when property has successive minors, because at the point that you could have planned a major subdivision, it's now not possible to have a major subdivision. So what the code says, and I'm sure this will be debated, is that once you have more than the minor number of lots on a parcel, you're supposed to meet the requirements of the major, but you can waive those requirements. So if this had properly been designed as a major, you wouldn't have this discussion at all, because you'd have underground utilities. So in the worst case for the applicant, they have to put these utilities underground in order to prosecute this application. But it's been the practice of the planning board to waive those requirements where it's proper in the course of the orderly development of the site to allow those to be waived. So there's the waiver of the requirements, and the component of the fire-matic issue is one of the reasons you should consider in waiving the requirements. So if you're comfortable that the road is otherwise adequate as to its surface, its construction, its drainage, its general, site distances, and whatever other issues would have been addressed by a public highway properly constructed, then the fire issue is, I guess, the linchpin. And if the fire marshal says it's okay, and you agree with the fire marshal, then you can go forward. So I guess my answer is a little more complicated than just, it's only about the fire marshal. Well, it's about, and Vinnie, I'm sure, has some opinions on the construction of the road, and those can be all worked out between the engineers. But it is unfortunate when you have a minor on top of a minor on top of a minor, which this is, and, you just don't have the public highway that's supposed to be there. I was sitting here, I wasn't sure if we're supposed to send them to the ZBA for lack of access on this, because they're creating lots that don't have access on a public highway. So I think even if you are satisfied with it, you still have to send them to the ZBA for lack of access.
I think that the new applicant is almost being punished because of what the previous owners have done.
That's always the conflict we're in. The previous one says, I'll just do this and I'll never ask for more, and then they sell it to somebody new, and the new person gets stuck with, what do I do now?
But I think what we should try to do is help them. I think we've got a really good plan here. If our folks sign off on it, we should consider it.
I think also addressing the judge's argument about the lack of access, there's already pre-existing dwellings on these subdivision lots. So to send him to the ZBA for something that his predecessor and title have already had before. I didn't pull certificates of occupancy and so forth, but the survey shows that there are dwelling units that are
There's
stored
nothing that
within
can be
there.
changed. I don't see the wisdom.
And I'm also just keeping in mind that, he's proposing to improve the road that is not part of the subdivision. And that is because he owns the lots on the west side of the street. And there's also a section he's proposing to improve that's not part of his property, it's actually part of Waylo, is that the name of the?
That's part of the duck farm piece to the west.
And, Mr. Binkus does know the individual who owns that property, and it's not an issue with him to improve that part. So just looking in the grand totality of things, as far as I know, the engineer still has to look over the composition and things of that nature.
Just to say something on, we need to know, what, if we can do these, and we realize that there's a lot of engineering left to do, and that we'll have to get together with Vinnie and your board and take this further.
Yeah, but you
wanted
wanna
to
know
get
before you do all the work.
Yeah, the fire marshal, issue is maybe not important, that Vinnie can do, but that we can't go anywhere until we solve this problem with the fire code. So after we've done that, then we realize that we'll have to come back for the engineering. There are some pretty great engineering issues here because of the huge, there's 2-foot trees lining this thing, and there's roots, and there's all kinds of, and thankfully, there's not a lot of drainage problems because we're on the hill and everything runs down into, off into, different routes.
So,
But we realize we've got a lot of work to do after, if this gets approved.
Well, we touch on the subject of the engineering, as far as my position in commenting on these roadway improvements, I've kind of taken the back seat to the fire marshal to make a determination of what he believes would be adequate width for this roadway. With that said, what is being proposed right now, and though it may not be the final road design, is basically a reclaimed roadbed, kind of a mixed in place of the existing pavement that's there, with a 2-inch layer of 3/4-inch stone blank, and no drainage whatsoever. I would just tell this board at this point, I'm not inclined to find that to be acceptable. That meets no standard whatsoever that we have in our subdivision standards. And that the applicant really should reevaluate that roadway. And I say that not so much on the basis that, we're looking at something that is going to serve 4 lots, but we are looking at a system that in essence serves other residential, existing residents further south. And that the maintenance of that, as I see it proposed right now, is problematic over the course of time. And unfortunately, we have an applicant here who bears that responsibility, like it or not. That's my opinion.
Okay. You have to provide us written comments yet, right?
Yeah, I just saw the map. Just to go back to the lack of access, I'm not saying that if you leave those dwellings there, you need to get a lack of access, but it says basically that if you're gonna get a building permit and you're not on a public highway, the building inspector's gonna send you for a lack of access, so I would at least go to the building inspector and learn from him what his opinion's gonna be, because if you get through the whole process, have an approved plan, and then have the building inspector raise an issue, that if it's not an issue with the building inspector, then I'm not raising it.
I think he's wrong on that, but, the law does say a public highway or mapped street.
All right, you're taking the position that's a map street?
Well, no, but when we get done, hopefully, you're making us file a subdivision map, right?
Are you gonna be able to map this street all the way to Meeting House Creek Road? I don't know, I don't know.
All right, so let us get all the comments back from building and fire, and then Greg will relay to you the next steps. But it looks like we're going in a better direction than before. Yeah, yep,
Thank you.
thank you.
Nice to see you, Joe.
The ZBA has had at least 3 meetings on this subject, on their part of the game. Setback and, size of lots, that's neighbors like. That's all I have to say. They're not in the road, they're in on the other, but it's 3 meetings already.
Was it for this one specific
No,
or other ones?
it's other.
Other ones on over?
Legal
Yeah, right. What is
legal
section
actions,
number on that?
lawyers, and
Yep.
it's been full blown. Just to let you know.
Okay, next item on the agenda is, proposed retail store Barclay Erler. Good afternoon. How are you? Good, how are you? Good.
Okay, just to give the board a little bit of background. The site plan for this project was originally approved in 2008, and it was extended 1 year in 2011. Then in 2013, after it expired, the original plan was reapproved in 2013. and then an amended plan was approved in 2016. Subsequently, Mr. Erler has come back with another amendment. I did give the board a package with my correspondences this year. In February, I sent out my first incomplete letter, and then in May and June, we finally got the title in June, so the only thing that I considered it still incomplete for was the lack of showing the offer of dedication on Cromer Avenue. The 2016 approved amendment indicated that prior to issuance of a CO, the offer of dedication as shown on the plan had to be completed. The 10-foot offer of dedication on Cromer Avenue is for the county to complete intersection improvements at the intersection of Cromer and 58 and possibly get additional turning movements there. The amendment is for, also shows deletion of parking stalls, deletion of landscaped islands, more parking stalls and things like that. But I think the most important issue is the lack of the offer of dedication. On the original plan that I got for this amendment, it did show the offer of dedication, and then it subsequently disappeared. So maybe Mr. Erler can tell you why he doesn't want to offer the dedication.
Well,
That's what we approved, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. This project's been going on a long time. I take responsibility, I'm not running away. Number one, I wanna know one thing. Has the site plan been approved on that job? For the number of cars? It was originally 56 cars. Now it's been changed to 77. The islands have been taken out. Some of the grades have been changed, and the dry wells, the water from the parking lot has been changed. Is the site plan approved, excluding the
No, because it was, the application is still incomplete. As I said in my
What's incomplete?
correspondence,
What's incomplete?
well, originally it was, now it's, in July I received the title. So the only thing that I indicated was incomplete was it didn't show the offer of dedication.
So that's the only thing that's holding up the site plan?
Well, as I explained in my letter, I was not going to do a full review of the site plan until I received a complete application. So we're here today because Mr. Early requested a audience before the board about the dedication.
So the site plan, so I'm sitting here today and you're telling me the only reason I'm here is because of the dedication. First of
No,
all,
I'm
the
not
word,
saying-
the
I'm not
word
saying-
dedication, I don't believe is proper. Dedication would be if I'm a builder and I have 1,000 by 1,000 foot, I'm gonna put in 10 houses and I'm gonna put a road in here and a road in here. I have to dedicate that road out of my parcel. This road is already there.
Well,
This road is there.
the terminology that Suffolk County uses when they.
Suffolk or your Riverhead town,
Well,
okay?
I'm trying to explain myself, if you let me explain
Go
myself, I will. Typically, a county or a town or a state requests an offer of dedication for future improvements. So I don't think we're varying from the typical language that's usually used.
That's your interpretation, I interpret it completely different.
Right, but I don't, I mean, you could,
That's number one.
but you
Number
could
two-
debate the interpretation of it, but the board's understanding was that you were gonna dedicate, or whatever word you wanna use, that property for future road improvements. And that's what prompted this to move forward.
Okay, that's number one. To dedicate it, I purchased it when I bought the property. I think whenever it comes, if they do widen the street is widened, they wanna take the property under eminent domain from me, we can go that way.
They're not gonna take it from them.
Yeah, they're not gonna do it that way.
Well, yeah, I've been in this before in the city, not out here, but I'm just saying. But as far as, and second of all, it creates a very hazardous condition. the elevation of the building for Old Country Road here is elevation 45. Where the driveway comes out of this building, it's elevation 38. There's a 7-foot drop off from here to here within 50 feet. The driveway is gonna be like this. If I take 10 feet away from that property, that driveway is gonna be like this. This is 45, this is 38, we're missing 7
I
feet
don't-
right there.
You lost me on that, because
Okay.
it's not gonna disappear, it's still gonna be there, it's just
Well,
gonna be dedicated to.
It's gonna, suppose in a year from now, they wanna take it 10 feet back, the angle is gonna change tremendously.
Why would the angle change?
What he's saying is that when you widen Cromer Avenue, then the shoulder is gonna continue west at that same elevation, actually a little bit less. So he's gotta get down to that, when this line of this gutter is over here now, it's gonna be down at that same elevation as it is here, even a little bit lower, so this becomes steep.
At 10 feet, this, from the back of this building here, which is erected right now, to this, I believe is 63 or 73 feet, I don't know right off the top of my head. If we take 10 feet off that, instead of at, say, an 8 degrees, we'll be at, 10. But when they're ready to widen the road, if they wanna take 10 foot from our side, what's the matter with taking 5 foot from this side and 5 foot from this side?
I've already talked to the county about this, that doesn't address what they need to do.
Go ahead.
Taking 5 feet from the other side of the road does not accomplish what they need to do, so that's not a solution.
Mr. Earl, I'd like to ask this question. When we went through this the last time, one of the stipulations was that we said, we're not going to change, the fact that you would dedicate the 10 feet would not change your project in any way. So you had the same amount of parking, you had the same amount of whatever. I'm not sure that the widening of Cromer Avenue will happen in our lifetime. My point is, what's made you change your mind? I mean, nothing, how are we changing? It was more or less a prerequisite before.
If they widen the street, they can take the property and take it.
It clouds the issue. If you dedicate it now, it's clean. Nothing changes. This doesn't change. This doesn't change. Nothing that you've asked us to give you changes now.
Right, he wasn't penalized.
Yeah,
for
you're
that
not penalized. We
property
said, yes,
in the
you're
calculation of the
dedicating
floor
it, it's
area.
not changing. When he didn't say, well, now that you took away 10 feet and that makes it 2,000 feet, that you have less we didn't do any of that. We didn't say you had to make your building smaller, everything was given to you as you had.
I follow you, but I don't feel it's proper.
You had made the statement that you wanted us to buy it. That's the statement that you made. You said, if you want it, you pay for it.
I think I should be paid for it, I purchased it. I lost 5,000 feet up here, which is none of your business, that's the town, that's gone, that I didn't, whatever. But this is another 2,000 feet over here. I have a question for you, is there any place along Old Country Road that they have,
Sure, all of them.
all of them?
Sure, all of them.
Yes, sir.
If not, they don't build.
Well, in the front here, it's done, it's just Cromer Avenue now. On Cromer Avenue, we can't make a left out of there, they changed the pattern to go out, you can only make a right, and you can't go across the street.
Right, this dedication may make it possible to make that turn.
That was the county.
Yeah, that was, again, I think,
Well, the way I look at it, it's number one, it is a hazardous condition, if they do move it back, there's gonna have to be a wall put here to hold up the fill, because, this is a 38.
but can I ask you this question?
Sure.
Isn't that on the county that does it, and not on you?
But what happens is now, we're way back, whoever does the work has to do the repair work.
Yes.
The county does it, they would have to put it in, I understand that. Not
again.
us, but now our whole parking lot is gonna be, we're gonna be tight, we have hardly any room now to make a turn there.
does this subtract from any of his parking?
No,
No, so, I don't,
Well, originally we were down for only 56 cars, and now we got it up to 75 cars, I believe. Is that approved?
nothing has been approved yet because you don't have a complete application.
Well,
you moved on without finalizing some of the steps.
I'd like to finalize it, but the street is holding it up.
I mean, if the board likes, I can go through the amendments that Mr. Erler proposes, regardless of the dedication. Would the board like me to do that since we're here?
Why not?
Okay. So, this is the approved plan. I'm gonna open it up to the landscaping plan. What's the date on it? May 8th. Actually, this one is this one is July 29th, 16. This is the approved plan, the last approved plan. You have the proposed plan. Okay, so basically, the parking has been increased. It was 58 stalls, and 58 stalls were required. Now, Mr. Erler on this plan is showing 75 stalls. And basically, he's accomplished that by, removing landscaped islands, making, if you compare the two plans, making the corners smaller areas of landscaping, things of that nature. The guidelines for this zone require but encourage to have certain amount of landscaping within the parking area. So this would basically get rid of parking lot landscaping. Just to let you know how that affects the project, they were previously showing 27 trees, I believe, and now they're showing 10, just the street trees. The approved plan showed 23.2% contiguous landscaping. 20% was required, but the ZBA had given them a variance for 15%. Now they're showing 16.8%. Some minor changes to the staircase in the rear. Drainage locations have changed. I wanna switch to the drainage plan.
What's the reason for, you feel you need more parking?
Yes, everybody who calls, I tell them 50 paces, they hang up the phone.
This is kind of a weird size lot for the rest of the lot.
And I'd also like to bring up that I would like to get permission to make it into two or three places. Because one person, having a hard job with it, people want 5,000, 7,000.
Okay, in this zoning district, you have to have 10,000 square foot storefronts. So if Mr. Erler wants to split this building, he's gonna need a variance, which we've explained in the past. So he's free to go to the zoning board on that. As far as the drainage, there is a drainage problem in Cromer Avenue, and this was addressed by showing these drainage structures. On this latest plan, the drainage has been moved onto the property, and I believe Mr. Erler has said that was because of a gas main?
Yeah, there's a big gas, yes. We put the catch basins in the driveway, I don't know, latest one, yeah. Over here, that's what I'm saying.
It still captures the same amount of stormwater, right?
Yes,
Yeah, I don't believe any drainage is proposed in the road right-of-way, for the road right-of-way now, though, is that
no,
Correct.
no, correct,
So they eliminated that.
Right.
This plan showed improvements
Right, but if there's a conflict with a high-pressure gas main, you said?
Is it, yeah,
And water. I thought that the idea was that they were gonna show this drainage on the property with an easement for maintenance for the town.
There was one design that did that, I don't know if it was ever formally approved by the board.
No, it wasn't. So this plan, the new plan basically changes up the drainage totally.
Accommodates the property itself.
So it's something that Vinnie will have to look at and,
Okay.
and, they would still need a, easement of some sort, yes, Vinnie?
Well, as of right now, they're not proposing any drainage whatsoever.
Oh, for the roadway?
Yes.
Okay, so
Right,
that's
but-
an issue.
Does it, where you move the drainage structures, will that capture the?
No.
It won't, okay.
We don't have any structures in the highway.
All right.
All
On the new plan, on the new plan. We don't show
this
you
is the newest plan, the other structures were over here, we put, it still captures all the water, and we've captured
Right,
the
on your
water
property,
here
but
on
the
the
highway
property.
superintendent said that there's an issue out on Cromer Avenue, right where your exit is here, right? That's why he
Right.
requested that.
Everything flows basically from Old Country Road down.
Down, yes.
So what he wanted is for them to take care of the drainage that's in front of, that's in the roadway that fronts their property.
That's where the, excuse me, but that's where the Old Country Road is at elevation 45. Where our driveway is and where that drainage is 37 and 38. The road drops right in front of our driveway and then it flattens out and goes down the rest of Cromer Avenue, where there's some dry wells down there that it pick up most of
It
it.
keeps going down past where we had proposed that drainage.
All the way down to the railroad
It's just
tracks.
the
Yeah.
gas main and the water main that are in there to put obstruction in, likely have to move with the line of the existing curb.
Offset the utilities.
Gas main and the-
So that's one change. The impervious surface on the approved plan was 67.8%, now it's 74.96%. Even though they've, proposed, on the new plan, they're proposing this road to be pervious pavement. They do meet the 75% allowed though, but with that, impervious pavement.
Back parking.
Yes. The ZBA had given 8 feet minimum front landscape area, but they actually showed 9.33 feet on the approved plan. I can go back to this plan. Now they're showing 8.1 feet, I believe, but that's still,
Okay.
Meets the ZBA. The walkway from the sidewalk, it was set back from the driveway originally, now it's shown right,
You could get something in here, so.
now it's shown, you can see this plan
Gas
here,
main is
it's
right
shown
there. Yeah.
abutting the driveway.
They had it exposed
I don't know
yesterday.
if you have any feelings on that. The parapet on the back of the building has been reduced. That's basically it. So,
I just have one quick question.
Sure.
This new plan, that was submitted, this boundary, the northerly boundary that's shown, is that the existing boundary, or is that
That's after the dedication of
that's
the.
after the
Yeah,
dedication?
that property's gone.
So the dedication was made already?
The northern boundary, the dedication has been done already. That's
So
it.
what was the discussion about the 10-foot dedication not
that's along
Cromer.
here.
along
Yeah.
Cromer?
That was supposed to
The
be the town
dedication
of
along
Riverhead.
here.
Understood, okay, great.
So, I think the issues that he still meets his zoning variances, I don't have a problem with any of that. I mean, that was already decided, and
Yeah,
as
the
long
only
as he's
thing
still.
would be is the board in favor of the increased parking and removing the landscaped islands, that's a guideline.
I think if he needs more parking, we should consider it, but at the same time, if we have to improve landscaping in other areas, that's what we should do. Like the drainage, I think we need to talk about, and also that dedication, that's, tough for me to
It
get
all goes
past.
back to the dedication. I mean, the site isn't approved and the dedication isn't given, so we're back where we started. So, just to think about it and whatever.
Okay, let me think about it.
Good.
At some
There's
point,
nothing else we can do?
Karen, was it, were the extra spots that we picked up here, how did we pick them up, you know?
By removing
Just do a little
landscape
landscaping?
islands and removing, surrounding landscaping, particularly in the corners.
Are they narrower now than they were before?
No, they're the same size.
They're the same, we picked up like, there was some mullions out here, we took out two here. We brought this closer where the,
All right, yeah,
refuse
yeah, you pick
container
up a
was,
few
we
there,
brought
yeah.
that in a little bit. We tried to keep this, I looked down the boulevard and I looked the spacing of the trees across the street in front of many stores. Well, count this, and this, and I don't think we're any different than across the way.
right,
Before, we had a forest, we had 20 trees around this lot and behind here. Behind
Understand.
here, which is, I think the Fort Lumber Company or something there.
right, but we did relax this for you,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I'm not
No,
saying.
that stayed the same.
Right, but we didn't, we felt, there was a discussion where we didn't wanna have to put trees up against their trees, so we were okay with that.
Yeah, that I don't recall. This where it shows here, these trees here, there's only a few of them, I looked about a month ago, and, over here, there's nothing here. We moved this back a foot or so, I believe this is 3 feet now at
Right,
this
there
point.
was a certain
know,
distance required or
I
a
think,
guideline for a certain
to
amount
make
of
this go
distance, and the
forward,
board
or
did,
I'm not here to argue
vary
with you
that.
because it's sitting there 6 months, it'll probably be next year, whatever.
This plan also, we've located the building and, you know, this is exactly where this plan shows exactly where the building is, so any dimensional stuff you see related to the building or curving and stuff like that is actually
This is,
what
this
it is.
plan is on the money right now, it's very close, and, we'd like to see it go through. Street here, Cromer Avenue,
Well, I just would like to confirm that the plan is not complete until we see the dedication.
That's, yeah,
well, at this time, I'm gonna tell you out loud, I've got a long time to think about it.
okay, let us know when
You know, I wanna see, when I see the site plan ready to say yes, then I will make a decision on that within 48 hours.
Do you know what? But they can't review it, I think is what they're saying, they're
Well,
not gonna review it.
originally, this was supposed to be a campus setting area on a little lot like this, which is 62,000 square feet, an acre and a quarter. I mean, if this was a big lot, I could see it, it just blows my mind, that's all. As the owner and the builder, it doesn't add up to me, that's all.
Do you know what Karen
The
needs?
street kills me, this street here coming down 8 feet, go out and take a look and see where it is.
right,
Yeah, but
but,
that should have been done during your due diligence, you know, you must have known.
You're absolutely right. A lot of this went on, I don't wanna say them, but I had something big that went on right when this was going on. And the person involved with it, I shouldn't say this to you, she did a long time in jail. That's not your problem, it's all my problem, so,
Do you know what she requires now to move on?
Well,
right
let me
now, as
just,
far as I know, she wants the street in the deal. Is that right?
well,
my last correspondence said I needed the plan to show the offer of dedication. Once it showed that, it would be considered complete, and then I would review all the other stuff.
Do you understand that?
Yes, I do,
Okay,
absolutely, and I haven't put it in, I took it out.
we
I
spoke
removed it.
about many of those things today.
Right, and the board seems amenable to a lot of the other changes,
Right.
except perhaps
Do
adding
you
some
wanna purchase the
additional,
street?
No.
No, huh? Okay.
except adding some additional landscape, perhaps.
To me, we need the dedication, and we gotta figure out what you're gonna do with the drainage,
To me, I paid for the street, and I'd like to get my money back.
and you're not gonna move forward. Okay, so
Go for it.
it's not, we're on record, you're not
Okay,
waiting
good.
for us,
Okay,
we're waiting
well,
for you.
To me, I'm waiting for, to know, I wanna know, is it excluding the street? Is this site plan acceptable by the town?
Not until we review it and come before the board.
Well, let's make a point, I wanna talk the site plan, the boundaries are given, I wanna know, is this site plan approved?
But Karen's saying that she has not
She has to
reviewed it in
review
its
it.
entirety
Okay,
until
so
it's deemed
please
complete.
review it and
No, we can't, what the board said is we can't review it until the dedication is shown.
Right, that's where we are, Mr. Earl.
Just be aware also that, I spoke to the county about the issue as well, and they seem to, yeah, I didn't get anything in writing, but, Mr. Early didn't get his
239 F.
his curb cut approvals. So they had approved this based on showing the dedication, so if the dedication is no longer shown, Mr. Early may not get his county approval, so.
This is new. When did you speak with them? Was it a month ago, 2 months ago?
Oh, just fairly recently, like
Okay, so it's
last week
recent.
or so.
Well, okay. Listen, for all your my issue is the street. I'd like to see the rest of it taken care of. You're not gonna go forward until you want me to say I dedicate the street.
Well, you did it on the front yard,
What?
you did it on the county road.
Well, yes, it did, it went through, and, I can't say nothing about why it went through, but it went through.
All right, well, if everyone's got a little thinking to do.
It's a moot point, but again, what you
The
agreed
front, I'll
to.
just let you know about the front, I was in a different business and I would sign a lot of things. Someone sent me a Bob, we put your signature on here, and that was for the front, I never knew it, cause I'm sitting in this chair with you now, but that's history. But the side, my eyes were a little more open over here, and I don't feel that it's appropriate for me to give it up if I don't get my money back. Or fair market value, whatever the value is today, if the town wants it, have someone come in, you wanna buy it from me, take it back, I paid for it when I bought the property, you want it, take it, whatever you wanna do, that's the approach that I'm taking to it right now, so if you can come up with some way of figuring that out, why, we could sit down and talk.
Doug, you and your client can think about it, I think you could know what advice you wanna give them, and let us know, we're here to help.
Good, okay, thanks for the time.
Thank you, sir.
Great, okay, thank you. Is this isn't mine.
That might be
Wait,
his.
what?
I only brought one, so that had to be in there first.
That's from our submission.
This must be from you guys.
Wait a minute, I just wanna make sure I have
Okay, thanks a lot, fella.
the approved
You're
plan.
welcome, thank
Is
you.
that the approved plan?
This one is the one you gave me, I never opened it.
Wait a minute,
Today.
just hold on, everybody, I wanna make sure we have the approved plan.
You have the one, that's the one that was submitted, unless somebody grabbed it.
Somebody grabbed it, I think. No, it's not it.
I have a May 8th.
This is mine, Young and Young. It wasn't Young and Young.
No, it wasn't Young, it was Andrews Trust. It was a different date.
No, this is yours.
No, but I'm saying,
This,
That's it.
this is, no, these are elevations. Oh, here it is. Here it is, okay. Just wanted to make sure I got it. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, are there any comments, on the resolutions from the public? Any comments?
We do need to make some changes to, resolution number 1, that's, 2018-58 to Brixmore.
Okay,
Based upon our discussion earlier today. First one is we're gonna need to change the dates of some of the plans, they're referenced on page 2 of the resolution based upon our conversation today. We're just getting a revision date based upon the revisions that we agreed to today. Going to page number 3, this is condition number 6. It talks about prior to signature of Mylar, the plans will need to be amended. On item D, I think we can actually, strike that, Chris, because that's gonna be included as condition number 7. I'll get to condition number 7 in a moment, but we're gonna strike 6D, and we're gonna add in, a new, condition, that's gonna say that the revised plan shall show the relocation of the 3 street trees to be planted on the north side of the berm.
That will be D.
That would be the new D. And then going on to, item E.
we should also strike location to be determined, right?
Yes, that's gonna be my next thing, that's to be to the southeast of building E2. And then, condition number 7, this shall say, prior to issuance of take out any additional, prior to the issuance of the certificate of occupancy for building E, and that's the new, smaller building. E1, excuse me, yep, E1, they were gonna get, approval from DPW on the signaling of the, intersection and the striping of that road, the exit road into the intersection.
We also amend C. We also amend, letter C there, it should say, revised plan shows amended interior road signage and road striping as shown on layout material plan C 2.1, C 2.2, dated 7/19/18.
What are the number of plans, sheet number?
C 2.1.
Right,
C 2.2.
Okay.
All both layout and material plans.
yep,
And then if you wanna go back to that first resolve clause, Jeff, the plans that were revised are C 2.0, C 2.1, C 2.2, and L2.
LC,
Just L2,
L2.
that's the landscape plan.
Okay, yep,
They'll all be dated, revised as of 7/19/18.
okay. So we'll make those changes.
That's it, Chris?
Yeah, and I don't know if you wanna put in that relocating the trees, it's revised as to the plan L2.
we did,
L2.
we did. Yep.
Okay, any other comments from the public on the resolutions? Okay, one on the agenda.
I'll move resolution, 2018-058 for Brixmor Retail Shops at Riverhead as amended.
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve amended resolution 58, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
opposed?
Fine, but just a question. The resolution I have here says 18-058, not 21.
It,
Oh, it should be 20, okay. Okay, got it.
Yep.
The resolution here doesn't say 20.
oh, I see what you mean, yeah.
Alright, it just
Yep.
says 18.
Oh, yeah, right,
It just says
yep,
18.
yep.
I have no problem.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, resolution is approved. Number 2 on the agenda,
Good discussion on that, probably for Vinnie. Who determined the amount? Because we've had so many problems with Berman and the bonds and the road improvements. Who determined, that this amount? You did?
As far as
The reduction of the bond?
keeping the million down to $1 million.
Yeah.
Well, I estimate that the cost to complete, and get it paid
$100,000.
is $100,000.
Yeah, I read that.
Okay.
The previously established, it cannot be reduced, but our code does not allow us to reduce it lower than 1/3 of the original face value of
Okay.
the bond. And the reason being is that before we release a performance security, we get a maintenance security. And that maintenance security needs to be 1/3 of the amount. So if you allowed someone to bring it down lower, we'd never get into a maintenance security,
Right.
they'd say, keep the performance bond and I'll see you later. So
Okay,
that's the
that-
structure of the dollar value.
That's a good answer, thank you. I'd like to move resolution number 60 of the Riverhead Planning Board for.
Second. Okay, motion made and seconded to approve resolution 60 for Calverton Camelot, performance security reduction, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, resolution's approved. Number 3 on the agenda,
Osama Efkowitz minor subdivision, resolution 61, resolution granting approval of minor subdivision application.
I'll second.
okay, motion made and seconded to approve resolution 61 for Osuna Ifkovitz minor subdivision, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye, opposed, resolution's approved. Any comments from the public on any matter in front of the planning board? Any public comments?
I had a quick question, maybe for Jeff. The approved plan for the Korean farmer on Toomey Avenue. Do you have any idea where that's at?
Oh, the dump truck.
Greenhouse is no longer.
I've got the plan that had needed revisions to it, because, they showed their as-built, and they had structures over lot lines, things like that.
Okay.
I told them that they either had to fix the lines or move the structures. Vic Pruzanowski said he was going to fix the plan and fix the
Okay.
structures.
Okay, so the ball's in their court.
Yes, absolutely.
How long has it been?
A very, very long time, since probably last year.
I think you should send them a certified letter.
cause it's been sitting on my desk since then.
Okay. It's been more than a reasonable amount of time, right?
Yeah, much more than that.
Okay, the minutes of July fifth.
I'll move them.
I'll second.
Okay, minutes for July fifth, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, minutes are approved. Okay, next meeting is, August second at 7 P.M. Motion to adjourn?
Motion.
All in favor? Aye. Thank you.
Have a good weekend, everybody.